Hello, hello, hello. Aloha all. And we're back to another Friday and no countdown this time. I'm still learning. And Rosalind gave me a really awesome bit of information about the countdown. So I thought, you know what? We'll skip the countdown.
I'm still learning, and Rosalind gave me
And I'm still not learning
really
well
awesome.
enough because I thought I had that muted. And yeah, since when would I ever do everything? Yeah, I think I did that last week too, to be honest. And so I don't know what's going on with all that lately. So I hope everyone has had an amazing, amazing work week. For those of you who are still got another day or two going, you're going to make it through. Not much longer. Only another day, 2 days, 3 days, whatever it is, you will make it through. And also, oh gosh, as you can see, I've moved to a little bit of a different location, so I don't have the halo behind my head. We all know I'm a little angel, but yeah, I don't need to impress on that more than it needs to be. And also, hi to all of you guys in chat. Miss Catlin was our first person in chat today, so hey there, Catlin. How you doing, girl? And Rosalind followed behind on that one. It was awesome. Thank you, my dear. You're the most amazing mod. Thank you, Rosalind. And Evelyn. Yes, I'm a little angel, aren't I? 1 second. My mom. And the one thing with moving upstairs is I'm sharing the kitchen with my mom. So, and I got an awesome mom who's actually trying to watch while we're doing this. And so she's trying to watch in. It was awesome yesterday. We were watching Rosalind's live together. And it was really kind of cool. So yeah, if you guys ever see, she goes by Carrie's Tutu on YouTube. I think that's what she goes by. So if you see Carrie's Tutu around, you know that's Mama Loco. Or well, Loco's mama. Yeah, there you go. And Mama Jane Star, there's another mama out there. How you doing, girl? And got to hang out with a couple of you guys late last night over on the Glares channel. He was doing some of the trials going on right now, doing one of the trials. Aloha, Mom. You got it. Aloha, Mom. I had to poke over. Aloha, Mom. Oh, yep. And she had to show me what I look like. Mm-hmm. And also, there you go. And also, yeah, so a couple of us were up. Well, for you guys, really early. For me, very late. Watching the Joe Daniels case and all. They're on the second day, just finished the second day of court trial. So it was very interesting. Scout, how you doing, my dear? And also, everyone, thanks for showing up. The best part about Fridays, I get to see all my good friends, which is the best ever. So today, we've got a subject that has been kind of in the back of my head for weeks. I've made some comments before to some of you guys in this group. Others, you'll get to hear this for the first time, and that is empathy versus codependency. People use those terms interchangeably. They are not the same. But a lot of us, we get into this thing. I mean, how many times have those of you guys okay, right now in chat, put a 1 in here if you've ever heard someone say in chat, oh, I'm an empath. Okay. Sometimes while I'm waiting on that popping up, sometimes I start feeling like everyone on YouTube's an empath. And not saying they can't be, because I think everyone has a bit of empathic to them, empath sides to them. But there's all the ones. Yeah, it seems like everyone. Oh, I'm an empath. I'm an empath. Yet the one thing you never hear anyone say is, oh, I'm codependent. When 9 times out of 10, they're also codependent. And I'm speaking as a recovering codependent myself. And Mama Jane, what we got here? My son's birthday is today, and I have to run to. Happy birthday, Mama Jane Stars. Little boy, because you're always a little boy. Trust me, as a 50-year-old woman, you're always little. Yeah, that's how it works. Trust me. Happy birthday to Mama Jane Star's son. And no problem, my dear. And yeah, Rosalind, see, I think a lot of us are codependent or used to be or have things, and we forget and we start confusing that codependency with empathy. And the thing is, some empaths are codependent, but not all codependents are empaths. Ricky is 17. Happy birthday, Ricky. Haole loha now. And as we would say out here. And so I wanted to talk a little bit today about this. What are the two different things? Mama Jane, you can come back and watch later. And or I'll even do a one-on-one with you later. How's that? Okay, that's whoa. You know what I meant. Yeah. It's a little early for me to go with my mind in the gutter like that, but yeah. Anyhow, hey, Christola girl, how you doing? And so I wanted to talk first of all to understand a lot of this stuff. Oh, Rosaline, the research has been fun. And actually, if this is a subject people are more interested in, there's a lot more I could talk about with this. But let's start off with what are the two different things? What is empathy? Okay, when you hear someone who's talking about being an empath, okay, usually that person feels things much more deeply. Okay, emotions are very, very deeply felt. Pia, come here. And they're also impacted by the feelings of others. Okay, I don't know how many of you guys have, and like I say, everyone is empathic to a certain degree. So when I'm saying this, I expect all of us have had something at one level or another. And okay, thanks, Mom. And so you walk into a room, for example, and I'm going to come back to this example later on. And you walk into a room and there's been a huge fight in the room. You don't even know there was a huge fight, but there's something about the energy in that room. You can actually feel just almost in waves coming off the other person, this energy. And that energy starts impacting you. You start taking those emotions in and they start becoming part of who you are. Okay. That's your big difference with empathy. Okay. You've got that going on. While a person who is codependent, on the other hand, takes the emotions on. Okay, they're more into, okay, the emotions are there and they got to solve the issues and all because those emotions are just starting to affect them and I'm going to feel better if I can make them feel better and stuff. So there's a very, very fine line you're starting to see here. Okay, they need a codependent person, needs the other people to be okay so they can be okay. So another way to put it is this. You walk into the room. Okay, and your best friend has just had a knockout fight with their significant other. Okay, an empath is feeling all the same emotions many times, but they are willing to sit there and just be. Let the other person talk. Listen to them. They are able to sit there and say, I understand you. Where a codependent person is going to be like, I can fix you. I know what you need to do. Okay. Oh yeah. Have you guys considered doing therapy? Okay. Got it. Well, oh, you know what I did at one time? I did this and this helped me a lot and all. So it becomes more of something where you're trying to solve the issues rather than just let that person be with the emotion. And so there's where we start running into something. The other thing that codependency many times does is it's coming from, more times than not, from a past trauma. People who've gone through trauma as children tend to have a more codependent relationship setup. Families also can be very, very codependent, okay, without any level or any issues of abuse or anything, but at the same time, they may actually be very codependent because the families themselves are very codependent. Another way of wording codependency is you have a relationship addiction. Okay, a codependent person is getting into this relationship because I can solve this problem. I can help them with this. I can do this. I can do that. Okay, and they start in a way getting off on this idea that I can help them. And you start creating those relationships so that you can help heal the other person. While the empath is like, you know what? Yes, as an empath, you're still going to want to help people. Because as an empath, oh my gosh, it's so draining because you're feeling all these emotions like crazy. And you know at some point, you're going to start being drained yourself. So you may be definitely willing to help a person, but it's coming from a different point in place. Okay, you're there more for just trying to, here's a way to put it. How many of you guys have pets? You guys know I'm the queen of animals right now. Okay, oh my God, I'm watching them play on the floor right now. Definitely. Animals, believe it or not, are probably some of the biggest empaths I've ever seen. Think about it. A horse, a dog, a cat, Robbie's hamster. Okay, all those. They have a way of feeling our emotions. You come home from work one day and all of a sudden you've had a worst day in the world and you just want to come home, curl up and stuff like that. What does your dog do or what does your pet do? They curl up next to you. They may give you that little kiss on the cheek, things like that. They're not asking you, okay, they're not coming in and saying, oh, I can solve this for you. They're just letting you be. They're letting you realize it's okay to feel these emotions because that's where the empath is. The empath is like, emotions are important to feel. And they don't want to take that away from other people. So your animals are amazing when it comes to this. And if you really want to understand how that can work, that's a perfect example of that. So taking it to the next step, though. Okay. Oh, one other thing an empath does do, and this was something, okay, Rosalind, you were talking about research. This was something I was like, I'd never heard of this before. There's something called mirror touch synesthesia. Okay, long word for empaths often have a way of being able to feel the touch they see someone else doing to someone else. Okay, it's if you see someone else getting a hug or a pat on the back, you can actually feel it yourself. You're far away from them. You're not being, okay, they're not touching you. They're not patting you on the back. They're not slapping you across the face. But there is something about, hey, loofah girl. And there's something about, with mirror touch synesthesia, we can see these touches going on, and an empathic person can actually feel the touch itself. And which was something I found very interesting because there's a lot of times I'll be talking to you guys, okay, or I'll be talking to friends and I've been like, you know what, I'm sending you a hug right now. And in my eyes, I can almost close my eyes and picture giving a hug and I can feel it on my shoulders. And I just counted that up to, oh yeah, you're a theater girl. Okay, you know how to do all that, and that's, yeah. Okay, and yeah, that's probably part of it. Okay, theater people probably are very heavily empathic. And, but to find that there is a scientific name behind it. Oh, yeah, Lufa's got the cutest little kitties that she just rescued right now. So, and I know what it's, yeah, I've got two, well, yeah, I got adult puppies playing with puppies right now. So if you hear whining, that's what's going on. So let's take it to the next step. We're starting to get this idea of what they are. Now let's find out what are some of the actual signs and symptoms we see. Hey, Tart! Yeah, Tart, I love it. All the time, Tart's one of those. It's like, sending you a hug, you know, yeah, exactly. Heather, hey, Heather, welcome, my dear. And so let's take a look. What are some of these signs? We kind of went through. What is an empath? What is a codependent person? So let's talk about some of those signs you might start seeing in yourself. This is where I was like I told you guys, yes, I'm an empath, but I'm also a recovering codependent, and probably more so a recovering codependent, because you need to deal with the codependency side before you even start opening yourself up to the empath side. That's just me saying that. That's not anyone else saying that. That's just me saying, you know what? Until you can deal with the codependent side of yourself, it's going to be really hard for you to honestly be the empath you were meant to be. And so what are some of the signs? I was going all over and I found a bunch of different places with signs of codependency. So I wrote a bunch of them down. So I'm going to spell these out, and you guys, hey, in chat, let me know how many of these make sense to you. Might be you yourself have felt this way at times. It may be that you have a friend or a family member you've seen these in. Could be both. So the first one is a person who is codependent really struggles to make decisions on their own. They are the ones right here who will sit there and say, well, what do you think we should do about that? Yeah, I was thinking we could, okay. I just had to last night, you guys know I'm doing a show right now, stage managing, and we were trying to figure out off book date, when all the cast need to have their lines memorized. So what do? I go onto Facebook. We wanted to go to Facebook, ask the cast anyhow. But I'm going through this whole thing about how, oh, well, I want to make sure it works for you guys because it's going to affect you guys. What do you guys think about this? What do you think about that? And in a way, I'm kind of hoping they make the decision and not me. Okay, so I started recognizing I was doing that. And I knew, okay, there's the codependent in me popping up. So I quickly backtracked a bit and I looked at the calendar and I'm like, okay, this date here would be perfect in my eyes. I'm going to suggest this date to them and see what happens. They can still change it. But a codependent is going to struggle to make those decisions on their own. They are going to keep going to people and asking what those people think, especially if the decision that's being made is going to affect other people. Okay, you're going to keep going to them to ask about that. Another one, they have a hard time identifying their own feelings. Because so many times as a codependent, you're out there looking at everyone else and how they're feeling and trying to fix them, that you forget about your own feelings, your own issues. And actually, I think that's one reason why people who've dealt with trauma are codependent so often. It's so much easier to focus on someone else's issues than it is to focus on your own. Exactly, Rosalie. You and I are thinking the exact same. Okay, and it's so hard to recognize and stop this behavior. But when it comes down to it, the codependent side, you know what? If I don't have to worry about my emotions and everything because I'm focusing on everyone else, then I don't need to worry about hurting myself. Okay, we'll have others. Hey, MX Big, welcome, my dear. And true, thoughtfulness about others is not codependency. Exactly. And that's where I'm trying to say it's finding this balance between it. Codependency is when you're taking that thoughtfulness about others and you are pushing it so much where it's always about them that you're forgetting about yourself. And you're wanting to help them isn't truly because you're trying to help them for them. You're helping them for yourself. You're helping them because it helps you feel better about yourself. And that was the hardest lesson for me to realize, is that a lot of time with codependency, I did not feel totally great about myself. So I started helping other people and it was something I was good at or whatever. So I just continued doing that. So in the end, if you truly are trying to help people, you have to be able to understand yourself, understand your own feelings. I've talked to a number of people here about having a place where we could talk about our own stories. And we've talked about, at the same point, we could talk about our own stories, but if people aren't ready to recognize the emotions it brings up and to ground themselves, deal with it, and all those other things, we're going to put people in a bad place. We're pushing them on the enabling side, okay, the codependent side, rather than the side that truly wants to help people because we care about them and helping them find a way. They're the ones who are going to have to do the work because we can't do it. All we can do is be here and help give them tools for it, and help push them in the right direction if they need to make phone calls or stuff like that. So codependents also very often have a hard time communicating in their own relationship. Okay, they can be great in every other relationship. Think about it. When you're at work, if you're codependent, at work, you may be very good at communicating your thoughts. You can get things across that no problem with. Okay, I was the queen of this. I had that. I understand, my dear. MX, I understand. No, that's fine. I do get you. And at work, I had this way I would be able to explain things, and okay, my bosses would say, oh, you did a great job at this or stuff like that. I felt great about it. But when I come home and I was in the relationship area with the people that I cared about the most, all of a sudden I had a big problem communicating the way I felt, because I was more concerned about how I would be viewed by them. Okay, so I was always kind of rewording my things because I didn't want them to be hurt by what I said, or I didn't want them to think negatively about me. So things where in public, I would have been very, very upfront and been able to say things very kindly, not meanly or anything, but kindly. When I got home, I would have problems with. And many codependents have that issue. And a lot of this comes down to the fact that more often than not, codependents are very concerned with getting approval of others. Okay, we are very focused on making sure everyone else feels we're okay, we're good. Okay, we're doing a good job. It's really about the approval of others more than our own approval of ourselves. And that's where I think my first acknowledgement of codependence was that I was more focused on other people liking me than me liking myself. And where did that come from? Low self-esteem. Okay, very low self-esteem. When I was younger, extremely low self-esteem. As I've gotten older, it's gotten better. It's still got somewhere to go. I think all of us still have somewhere to go on this. Okay, but I still got quite a bit ways to go, because I do a lot of these things still. I thought I had dealt with a lot of it, but I'm recognizing, yeah, I still got some lessons to work on here. So another thing codependents may not do is they may not trust their own instincts, their own intuition. Because again, if you have low self-esteem, and if you're always worried about other people seeing you positively, there's a part of you that is always worried, oh gosh, I'm going to screw this up. So again, go back to your agreements. Okay, that's why we started all this with the agreements, is the agreements really are a basis for a lot of this. So a codependent is very untrusting of their own instincts, for sure. They also have a very big fear, unhealthy fear of abandonment. If you're scared people are going to leave you, you very quickly get worried about everything you say, because if you say the wrong thing, they're going to walk away. They're not going to be your friends ever again. And again, trauma. A lot of this comes from trauma. And they needing approval to the point where it may go against everything you believe. Okay, how many times, I know this is, I can honestly say, yes, I have this problem. Okay, I will have a very strong belief on a political issue or something like that. And I will be with people, and I will say the exact opposite of what I believe, because I am so freaking worried about what they're going to say about me. Okay, that I am now willing to go against my own ethics because of that. If for all of you true crimers out there, okay, think about that partnership type thing that you see at times where you've got the person who did the crime and then they have someone tied in underneath them and all that kind of goes along with everything. They're so worried that that codependent relationship that they've created, okay, where they're always so worried about being abandoned by the person or things like that. So, hey, Katie K, and they're so worried about being abandoned by the person that they're willing to do anything, even if it is against all of their morals, just so that they are not left alone or considered in a negative light by the other person. And the other side, in that type of situation there, They start feeling responsible for the other person's actions. So if you as a codependent person are always trying to solve everyone else's problems, you start taking ownership of those problems. And again, and as we get into empath, you're going to see the balance that I'm talking about. I'm just talking from one side right now. And, but a person starts thinking, oh yeah, I've been here and I'm helping this person and I'm helping solve their problems for them and I'm helping them understand why they come to this thought process or whatever. And you start taking on responsibility for those actions. Now, that's not to say that you don't have some responsibility from it, but you don't have all the responsibility. And many times codependents will actually take all that responsibility on. Okay, they've been helping someone. Okay, maybe your best friend's relationship is falling apart and you're trying to help them out through everything, and it finally does fall apart. And you start taking on all the blame for that in your own head because you're like, oh gosh, if I had just helped them out a little bit more. Oh wait, why didn't I suggest this? Because if I had done that, that might have helped out. Things on that level. And last, with this whole thing, they are miserable if they're not in a relationship. This was the one that was confusing for me because I'm an independent, very independent. Okay, very much. I've lived on my own for most of my life until I came home to live with mom and all that. I'm not married. I don't have a significant other. I'm very independent. So I was like, I can't be codependent then. And that's when it reminded me, you don't have to tick every single box for something to fit you. Everything else quacked like a duck. Okay, it made sense. And but for most people, codependents need other people so much that they will stay in a relationship no matter what. That person in that true crime situation I was talking about, okay, a person in a domestic violence situation, all these people, they will stay in that relationship even though it is harmful to themselves for one reason. It's better than being alone. They need other people to help them feel better about themselves. So they will stay with that person because there's still the possibility of helping that other person. And so there's your codependence. And like MX Big was saying, wait, yeah, okay, it's not just this black and white. And you're right. It's not this black and white. And this is where everything starts getting more gray, is when we add in the empathic side. And yeah, sometimes it's distraction from your own issues, simply, yes. And I think that's how it a lot of times starts. A lot of time it starts exactly there. We're trying to distract from our own issues so that we can just live. I mean, anyone who's been through heavy issues knows sometimes you just need to do that just to live. Okay. Otherwise it's just too hard. Okay. Too many emotions, all that. So the gray. Is codependency like enabling? Yes, I think there is definitely a side to that. Okay, when you are codependent and helping people, you can get to the point where you're enabling them to get away with anything. Okay, yeah, exactly. And next big, I am definitely not. I have that, and then right over here, here's the bird's cage. So I've got my 4 and my 2-leggeds, definitely. And that is true though. That is true. And then all of a sudden I'm solving their problems. And trust me, they have problems. But yeah, Lufa, I definitely think there is an enabling side to it. Okay, you're enabling them and you're enabling yourself also. Okay, you're using other reasons as an excuse for the behavior rather than addressing the behaviors. Okay, if you're talking about healing. If you're sometimes, yes, like MX Big said, you need to not be focused on your own issues because otherwise it is overwhelming. But when it becomes an excuse to get away from stuff and it continues happening over and over, you're enabling your own ability to not keep focusing on issues. And also, so empathic, science of an empath. Okay, who needs humans? I love that idea, definitely. So now as we go through here, empaths, like I said, every one of us here is an empath. The difference is to what degree we are an empath. Some of us are empaths here to such a point where it actually destroys our lives. It just, the emotions as they come into you, it can truly hurt your own mental health. And also, lots of things with this. So first of all, an empath. Empaths are generally targeted by toxic people. Your narcissists, things like that. They have radar for empaths. Okay, true empaths that really live their life as an empath, not just the every now and then type thing. Your toxic people will go to them because they know a person who is feeling all of these emotions all the time is going to have to deal with the emotions at some point. Okay, and that's when sometimes they are. There's nothing wrong with helping people. Exactly as MX Big said, there's nothing wrong with helping other people. Okay, they're having issues, letting them talk while you listen. Because you know what? 9 times out of 10 people who are having issues, if you let them talk it out, they're going to solve a lot of issues on their own. Okay, and if they can't, you're there to help them with other things. Okay, can empaths be narcs? Very good. I got to think on that one, girl. And also, this is you, Heather. There you go. Empaths often are moved into action by the emotions of other people. Okay, now, how far are you moved into action? There's where the line with codependency is. Okay, you're moving into action at first just based off of the emotion of the other people. But at some point, there's a very, very fine line where it crosses from moving into action to help them, to listen to them, to let them be with their emotions and feel their emotions, to all of a sudden having to solve their problems because guess what? It's going to make me feel better. Okay, a true empath is not going to be focused on, well, I'm going to feel better about it, because they do understand the person needs to go through their own process on their own. I was watching Alison Dubois before, and I don't know how she does that. Yes, exactly. And one other thing to think, okay, I heard this one pop up, and it was really interesting to me. If a person who is an empath, okay, a true empath, comes up and starts talking to someone about their own issues, okay, they start talking, and all of a sudden the other person starts bringing up issues. An empath many times is going to stop immediately, forget everything that they just mentioned in their own head, okay, and said to their friend or whatever. They're going to drop all of that, and they're going to refocus completely on the other person. Okay, that is where, is it possible for you to let us know the resources that you found? Yes, I can definitely, whether it's in a live or something, or in Discord, actually. In Discord, I can definitely share things. Quite a few of them, to be honest, were YouTube. Okay, a couple of them were some websites that I found, but heavily found some good stuff off of there. But I will share that. Thank you, Rosalie. So they tend to, especially when you get these toxic people, they know that even if you're having a hard time as an empath, all they have to do is bring up all their shit, and they start manipulating you. You start getting manipulated. And Lufa, yes, you hit a good word there about boundaries, which is actually a huge part of this. An empath does have boundaries in place where they realize, you know what, this is going too far. I've got to be able to step up and just listen to them. It's not about me solving their issue now. They need to talk, because sometimes it's just people need to talk. Hello, Patrick. I just saw one of my buds pop in. Hi, Patrick. And love you, my dear. And so another thing with our empaths are, if that's Patrick, that could also be Patrick's significant other. And if that is, hi, my dear, even more so. No, I love you both to death. And another thing with empaths, okay, and we've talked about this before, is being around other people. An empath, because they truly are feeling all the emotions. It's not just hearing how hard, it's the real Patrick. Okay, it's the real Patrick. Patrick, by the way, has an awesome thing on Twitch, which someday I'm going to have to share with people. If people like gaming, Patrick is the gamer. And hey, dogs, hush. And and Patrick knows the dogs and how noisy they are. So an empath is feeling all the emotions that come at them. And so if they go into a large crowd, hey guys, come here.
I'll get it.
Okay, mom's going to go get them. If they go into these large crowds with all of these emotions going on, they completely start being drained because it's not just one person. It's a party or going shopping at the mall or something where you've got people who are mad at this person and a person who's excited over here and a person who's crying over here. Pia, come here. And so they start feeling all of these emotions and it gets extremely draining. And yes, animals can drain you too. And also Tart, I see people who claim to be empaths who just go on about their own. Exactly. And that's when I can start seeing a difference between an empath and someone who's codependent. Because the codependent in the end is going to bring out their issues over and over and over. While an empath, because they're feeling these emotions, they're going to be like, oh, this person needs to talk. This person needs to talk, so I'm going to let them talk. And right, Tart, you got it right on the head right there. So now going along with the large crowds being draining, okay, it just makes sense that an empath is going to need time to recharge. They need time that is alone time. That's going to differ for each of you guys. Okay, if you are an empath, it's going to differ if you're an introvert versus an extrovert. Introverts need recharge time all the time to begin with. An extrovert doesn't need as much. So if you're an introverted empath, you're going to need a lot more time just on your own. Because again, you're pulling all of these emotions inside. Consider that you're a sponge, okay? Brand new sponge, totally dry, no moisture in it. Okay, you've walked into a big party and that sponge just soaked up tons of water and it's just dripping water. Okay, it's going to need to be squeezed and left alone to dry because you can't squeeze all that out and have it dry on its own. It still needs to drain on its own. And that's what happens with an empath. They need that time to check out and just be themselves and get back to their zero line. Because if they don't, what's going to happen is it's going to affect them physically. We've all heard about issues where people physically start having problems. Okay, they start having concerns, whether it's blood pressure, stress issues, okay. It truly will make a difference for them. And they start realizing that quickly. They need that time to themselves. Now, what about the codependent empath though? Here's your thing. Like you said a few minutes ago, was said by Tart. So many codependents, okay, say they're empaths. Well, some of them are empaths. What do they do different from a regular empath? Well, a codependent empath is not going to take that time off for themselves because they still need to have people around them. Where an empath knows they need that total quietness, going out into nature, whatever they need for themselves. A codependent empath, someone who hasn't dealt with things yet, is actually going to keep being around people because they need that codependent side settled. Boundaries and self-care, Evelyn, exactly. And Christola, that's awesome you're catching those things because those are the things I've had to catch in my own life. And that, oh yeah, you know what, I need to be addressing this or I need to be addressing that. So I'm happy you're catching those things. But yeah, boundaries, self-care. I did the video on boundaries a few weeks ago, and I've been wondering if there's a way I could expand on that video at some point and wanted to talk to some of you guys about that in Discord. Other things, okay. I mentioned earlier about someone who goes into a room and there's just been a fight. True empaths often feel their way around the environment through their senses. They walk into a room and they can immediately tell in the air if something's going on. Okay, how many times you've walked into a room or you've been in a room and someone else, you've had a fight with someone and someone walks in who was not part of that. And the first thing out of their mouth, they're kind of, you can tell something's off and they're like, is everything okay? And you're like, how did you know there was something wrong? Okay, there's definitely an issue going on there. That's how an empath lives their life. They're feeling things. They're getting the energy that just comes off of you in waves. Okay, they're reading. Sometimes it's reading facial expressions or body language. Okay, noticing, oh my gosh, those people usually are sitting closer and now they're farther apart. And oh, as we say it out here, look at the stink eye in that one. Okay, we got problems here or something like that. So they start recognizing those different things. On the other hand, they can walk into a calm environment and they feel the calmness from it. Okay, if you walk into a spa, you can feel the difference there. So in the air, yeah, there's something in the air, and people who are empaths who keep working on those skills or who already have those skills can feel it more and more. So we've kind of looked at the two different things and what they are. So the next question is, how the hell do we deal with all this? Okay. I mean, how do we deal, especially if you're a codependent empath on top of it? Okay. First of all, you've at least figured out, are you codependent or are you empath or are you both or are you neither? Okay. Evelyn, most of my career, I've worked with suicidal adolescents and most of them report awareness that their parent had a bad day. Interesting, Evelyn. Very interesting. And that makes sense. Many times I think most of our younger kids and all are born empaths, I personally feel. And that's why they can feel when you walk in. And to hear that adolescents who are feeling that all the time, I talked about it affecting you physically. What worse way to affect a person than for them to become suicidal? Not that that's the whole reason. There's other reasons behind it, but I'm sure it's part of the whole picture. Okay, Tart, I agree with you. I think true empaths listen without the need to reply. And that is something that is hard to work on, but it's very important. We're all, I agree, MX Big, we're all empaths to a greater or lesser degree. And I think we all have the ability to become more, okay? It's just learning how to work with people and things like that. Some of us, like any talent, we have that ability in us, but we can all learn it. So how do we deal with it though? And that's where we're getting into this. How do you deal with these things? So if you are wanting to be more on the empathic side rather than the codependent side, let others have their feelings. It's totally fine. It is totally fine to sit with someone who is crying and just sit with them and not have to solve it, not have to walk them through, well, why are you crying? Oh, well, have you considered this? Oh, yeah. Or even gone through all the bull crap of saying, oh, yeah, no, he was an asshole, wasn't he? Or stuff like that. Okay, because that's also partially, okay, what goes on codependency is you're trying to talk them through to make them feel better about things. The empath's going to let them just sit. Yes, there may be times you do speak up, but you're speaking up based off what the person needs, not what you're thinking they need. How many of you in chat right now have ever tried to help someone and you sent them a message or you talked to them or something and they're like, excuse me, I'm not interested in this right now. They may have said it or they may have just reacted in a way that you're like, okay, they didn't need that right now. I've done it multiple times and I've talked to a number of people who've done it too. Okay, we just react because we want to help people. Sometimes it is because we are empaths and we just can't stand the emotions and the feelings all the time. And but let them just have their own feelings. Allow them to sit. Allow them to feel uncomfortable. They're not going to learn if we're always saving them from discomfort. You have to allow them to feel. Now, where you're helping them is by being there with them, just sitting with them, holding their hand, putting your hand, okay, sitting maybe and not even physically touching. Remember what I was saying, okay, about when I would give people hugs from across the ocean and I could almost feel it. Okay, just sit with them. Let them find their own inner wisdom because they're going to find it. Okay, you can help them, but they can find it. I believe that. I don't think there's anyone out there who can't find it on their own if you give them enough information. And the information may not come from sitting with them at that moment. It might be 2 weeks later when there's no problems and you share with them a video or something like that. Okay, that's what it comes down to. We cannot save others. Okay, Crystal, I think that was the point of chat, is to relate and have. Yes. Okay, I think where the thing is, first of all, yeah, in chat, if you're talking chat here, yes, it's for you guys to be able to talk. Because not all of us are going to see things differently, the same, and some of us are going to see the same thing slightly differently. So if that's what you're meaning, sorry, I'm kind of behind in some of the chat now also. But it's interesting how a lot of times we confuse having to solve everything with everyone with just being there for them. Okay, being there and letting them talk, letting them vent. Some people, okay, to me, I think venting is important. It's a chance to get things off of your chest so that you then can address what is important behind that. And so now comes the one that we talked about, boundaries, having those boundaries. Know when to say no when people need you. Okay, as an empath, it is very, very much. Okay, got it. Thank you, Crystal. I just wanted to make sure. And I definitely want to make sure everything was cool. As an empath, you can take on so much. It does affect you. We talked about, okay, Evelyn brought up the thing about the adolescents. And it's important, if you are an empath, to have boundaries and realize you can't be solving everything for everyone. Sometimes all you can do is sit there. And if they're going to ask you to be there further than you're able to, you may need a boundary where you're able to say, I can't go there tonight. Maybe my own emotions can't go there tonight. Okay, I will help you find a better place where you can be with other people, or a phone number or something like that, but I just cannot do it myself tonight. We need to learn when it's okay. It's okay to say no. When we want to, it's fine to say no. And when we mean yes, we say yes. It's totally fine to do those things. A codependent person is going to feel like it's not okay to ever say no, because the codependent person is so worried about what the other people are going to think about them that they're always going to say yes. And differentiate ourselves. Okay, a codependent person is living through everyone else. Okay, Lufa, you do that. You try to solve and I just can't anymore. Exactly. And you get to the point where you have to build boundaries so people realize, you know what, I need to focus on myself so that maybe in the future I can be there for other people I care about. There's nothing wrong with taking care of yourself. And learning that is probably one of the biggest steps anyone could ever make. And so if you're codependent and you're always looking to other people to show you your worth, it becomes more important than ever for you to differentiate yourself, to decide what is it that makes you different from everyone else. So start thinking about yourself. Who are you? What is it that makes you tick? Okay, what is it that makes you happy? Not just making other people happy, but what is it that makes you happy? Yes, Patrick, exactly. Self-care is a prerequisite for caring for others. It's something we all have to take care of. And that's why when I see friends of mine, hey, Amber, when I see friends of mine taking that step and learning about self-care, it's awesome to see because they've seen that next area where they can do these things. And I know they're taking this next step for themselves. So as you're going through, find out who you are. Keep asking yourself, okay? And lastly, as you're going through all this, no, not everyone is going to like the way you're going to deal with this. Loofah. Okay, what you just said there. Okay, you get to a point where you help other people. Okay, and I'm not saying you, I'm talking this in general. Okay, you help other people, I help other people, and at times you have to back off and say, okay, I need to focus on myself. You are going to have some people out there that are so focused on themselves that they're going to get upset because you've now taken a stand for yourself. And you have to be willing, thanks, Crystal, my dear. You have to be willing to say, that's fine, that's fine. Okay, some are going to want you to be codependent because if you're codependent, they have that person who is going to be enabling them. They have that person who's going to focus on them all the time. And whether it's a narcissist or a normal human being who's just having, has a rough time and likes everyone to focus on them, whatever it is, they're going to get upset about it. And that's where things become problematic. So Katie K, let's see. Yes, Crystal, that's where your boundaries come. Katie K, I also think it's common to be an empath and have certain relationships that turn. Yes. And that I think is the thing. I had dealt with a lot of my codependence over the years. And I find as my relationships change, because our relationships are changing all the time. Okay, someone you were friends with when you were 10 years old, it's not the same relationship as it was, then. Hell, there's some relationships that now, 1 year later, are not like they were from the past. And so it's important to be able to recognize that many times that relationship, sorry, my mom just opened the door to the garage, ding dong, and at least the dogs didn't bark, holding them helps. It's important for you at that time to be able to say, you know what, I recognize my need to help you. Okay, it's gone from wanting to help you for helping you's sake to I need you to be happy with me, so I'm helping you. And that's kind of where I look up. Got to wrap up the workday. Okay, sounds great, Patrick. Thanks for dropping by, my dear. Actually, thank you so much, my dear. And I will talk to you later. Hopefully, we'll get together sometime soon. See you, my dear. And yeah, sometime definitely. Okay, Tart, I agree. Sometime we're all going to get all of us back, but all of us are going to work on whatever we need to work with, and we'll get to places. I need to get myself back into chats too. I've got rehearsal, yes, but I've also been turtling a little bit more than I should be lately. And so to kind of go back, okay, we've kind of gone through this. And what are our codependent feelings? Okay, what is it that we do? What is it as an empath? How can we take those codependent tendencies that get involved in empathy and change them so it's more healthy for not only ourselves but others, because others need to learn also. So I hope that's actually helped you guys. I mean, this is a short one, and we can focus on this, please. Like I've said before, our Discord is there to talk about subjects people want to talk about. Like I said, I've got a great list of subjects going right now. And some of them I think we could use going back to. If you guys want to talk more about boundaries in the future, again, more specialized, nonviolent communication with children, maybe, you name it. Throw out ideas in Discord and we'll keep playing around with ideas. I might be able to do some other videos and stuff like that that aren't lives, but just to help people out with ideas from, I could do the research and help pass on and share stuff with everyone. So, so please, if you have not joined Discord, please let us know so we can get you in Discord. Also a couple of things. Sorry, I'm just checking up on Discord at the same time. Not Discord, on chat. A couple things, real quick reminders to everyone. Number one, he's not here right now. At least I don't think, unless he's lurking, and then how dare he lurk. And Siren's Makeup Challenge. We've got the deadline coming up at the end of a couple days actually. So please check Robbie's Discord or my Discord for the rules. They're pinned in both locations. Just a couple more days to get your makeup, show your bad self with your makeup. And last I heard, there was only one person who's applied so far. That may have gone up by now. I need to ask him about that. But girls, guys, okay, even if you don't wear makeup, you win this thing, you got makeup that you can give out to people for birthday and Christmas gifts for a while. I mean, it's nice. Very, very nice. Okay, so just have fun with it and get your pictures in to him. And lastly, we've got a little bit of a change for Friday night at the YT Cantina. As many of you guys know, I'm in rehearsals now. I was supposed to be in rehearsal tonight. I've had a little bit of a change in that my cousin from the mainland is in town, and they are going to be doing a dinner cruise tonight. And I just got invited to that. And of course, chance to go on a dinner cruise, I'm going. And so I contacted our director, and I'll be out at that. But we've got an amazing, awesome Rosalie who stepped up, and she is going to and make sure that Cantina goes on like normal. If I have a chance, I am going to try to pull in off of my phone if Sprint works out at sea. We will find out if the ocean works or not. And but please take a look. We're posting. She was awesome, Rosalie. She also posted the link here. Please take a look. Go join there. Have fun, everyone. I mean, I wish I could be with you the whole night, but I'll try to pop in once in a while for sure. And I love you guys tons. Those of you who joined, Lufa, thank you, hon. Thank you. Anyone who's been sending PayPals, thank you so much. It really, honestly, it means the world to me. Okay, I've got a couple people who've been amazing, and you guys don't know how much those actually do help me right now. I'm in the process of building up and trying to get some stuff for this. And so it really is a big help. You guys have an amazing time. The group, all of you guys who came in today, the feedback to know that this is actually helping people, because there are times that I'm like, is this actually helping people? I know it's helping me, and that's fine. But to know it's helping others does help me. It really does help me a lot. So thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the future. And I will see y'all hopefully later tonight if my internet works out at the ocean or Sprint, whatever. Love you guys tons. Aloha and love you. And see you next week. Bye-bye.